There we go. Twice in one day, sir. That is correct. Welcome everybody back. So, what are we doing today? Finally going to be sitting down working on that. Sorry I got tied up playing a little bit longer than I should have. Oh, let's turn that mic volume down just a little bit, huh, fellas? I don't think you want me screaming at you. Turn the game volume down, or the music volume. Yeah, I was playing Arma a little bit later than expected. So yeah, that's the thing. Anyways, so give me one quick minute here to finish setting up as we go along here. Let's see here. You are going to the microphone. What's going on? Just pause that real quick. That was not what I was looking for. Okay. Fuck it, we're good. Alright, I'm back. He was just being a big old crybaby. Perfect. All right. Sorry about that. Wanted to make sure everything was good before I really started, excuse me, kicking things off. All right. So, for those joining us, welcome. I duly appreciate it. Again, I am not used to streaming. Normally, I have all my stuff set up, ready to go, but as you can see, I am still struggling to get the basics down. Want to make sure that my info's correct. Just chatting. Yep. Cool. There we go. Now we are ready. Sorry. All right. Try this again. Welcome back, everybody. It's the first time making a video. Besides, obviously, today. You sure? Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Junk. Thanks for sliding in there. Appreciate it, brother. Jerk. Anyways, thanks for coming back. As you can see, we're going to be working on our storyline for my D&D campaign. Set in the world of Exandria. For those who aren't familiar with Exandria, it is brought by the Critical Role campaign that they're doing currently with the Mighty Nine. They've done with Vox Machina, and they've done with another guild. Can't really remember the name. It's kind of one-shotty. Anyways, so where our story took place at, we were in a place on the continent of Tal'Dorei, and Tal'Dorei. They came together in a dreamlike state where they all met each other. They were told by an apparition that he has a quest for him, but he has to pass through trials first. So the group, mind you, my group is all new D&D players. We're all brand new DM. I know. You're welcome, ass. So, we're all brand new players, brand new DM. So of course it was a little rough at first. Anyways, though, they managed to complete the trials. In completing the trials, they were told by the apparition that they needed to go to the city of Whiterun and basically meet up. So they went to the city of Whiterun, they met up, and they met with a character named Yalton Smallstone. Yalton Smallstone was from the Cobalt Suppository, where he was basically a scholar, but he happened to see something kind of out of the ordinary, which was a green comet. This green comet, he wanted to know what it was, has it passed by before. So what he did was he went into the library, couldn't find anything in his library. Nobody seemed to want to talk about it. So he went to the Forbidden Knowledge section, where there he found a book about the ancient gods. The ancient gods said basically that a green comet would pass, and that it was a sign of Vecna's return. Now, he doesn't know too much about Vecna. It's kind of a cult, if you will, that's not very well known, very secretive. And for those who don't know, or maybe have watched the show Vex Machina over on Amazon Prime, or follow the Critical Role campaign, 2 followers were the Briarwoods. One being a vampire, one of them being a necromancer. Those were followers of Vecna. If you guys watch the campaign, you know what's going to happen. If you're a fan of the show, I'm not going to ruin it for you, because there's plenty of more seasons that they're going to make of that show. So with that being said, he gave him very specific instructions to they'd hear from him in a couple days, if not, to go to this area, to this house, to go speak to a mage that may have information and knowledge about the comet and what it really means with the symbols, the sign of the green comet. Basically, the characters looked around, and as they were going back through the city, they stumbled upon a living area, a household. The coppers were around it, the guards. Basically told them there was a murder. 2 people were murdered in the house. They left, said whatever, not going to pick up on that story arc. Went to the Cobalt Suppository to go find Yalton. Once they got there, they found out through Yalton's roommate that he has not been there since the night before. He never returned home. He said he was going to go to the pub, never made it back home. As they were leaving, somebody had the idea to, well, who was it? They said it was a halfling. Now that could have been Yalton in some form of an old mage or a druid, something. So they sent one of the party members into the house to identify, and it came back that it was Yalton. At that point, my story changed a little bit, due to the fact that, I know I do love it, due to the fact that I've been running my campaign as a very in-depth story building. A lot of communication is needed. Again, if you guys watch Critical Role, you know exactly how they play, which is, very narrative, very involved with the players in feelings and developing character traits. And so I try to bring that. Now, something they say at the beginning of every episode is, welcome back to Critical Role, where a bunch of us nerdy-ass voice actors get around together and play Dungeons & Dragons. We are not voice actors. As much as I wish that I could be a voice actor, they are not voice actors. Meaning that they don't have that intuitive thought of dialogue and script and how should I tell people how I feel. It's just not there. It's again, we're new, so it was very uncomforting for them. Slowly, we've been breaking it in, though. We've been breaking it in. So at that point, what happened is one of our senior guys, 2 of our guys are very familiar with D&D. However, they're not familiar with 5e. They're familiar with 3e from years ago. So things have changed, so they're learning a little bit, but they have the most knowledge about how to run a campaign. So the oldest guy in the group, he was like, hey, youngster, go ahead, sit down. I'm going to run a small little dungeon quest. I want you to watch and learn and utilize what I'm teaching you into the campaign. So, all right, cool. I got you. Now noticing that my guild that we have, they are very wanting that combat. They want that combat. So far, not so much of the narrative. I feel like the narrative is there. We do have conversations while he's doing this dungeon, this little run through. I'm playing as my character that I created earlier, which was Sven. Sven is a thief, half elf. They needed that really bad in the group. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. So I've been learning from him. You know, obviously he's been teaching me a lot of tricks at the same time as tricking me. Because again, I'm basically a new player. My only experience is going and watching Critical Role and playing Baldur's Gate. You know, so it's not like I don't have a lot of information, but I have enough to get me there. So obviously we've been doing it. I am still going to keep a lot of narrative because there's a lot of quests that I have planned, a lot of side quests that are going to dig deep into the personality of the player, which those personalities are reflected in their character. You know, I always say, looking at other games, right, that you see those characters' traits come from the person who plays them. A lot of these guys like to live in La La World. That's great. That's what I love, the immersion. However, I can see their personality traits leaking into their character. So I have a lot of side quests aimed specifically at the player's personality traits. That's going to have to make them basically rethink the way that they do things. So I do have a lot of narrative still. However, I did learn about a lot of combat. So, which is where I was really lacking in, was that combat experience. So we're going to go ahead and dive in. If you guys didn't know, earlier today I did a stream. You can find it over on my YouTube channel at glitchyagent_47, just like the Twitch page. You can go in there and watch the video. I'll give you just I'm going to give you a quick little summary of a paragraph. I'm not going to run through this whole thing again. Actually, what do you think, Junk? Should I run through it all again? I mean, it's a page and a half. Sure. Okay, good. Glad to hear it. I need your acceptance these days. Oh, and just so you know, Junk, and anybody who else might tune in, we are going to be doing a giveaway. Currently looking at the game lists that are coming out. I got a couple that I'm thinking of, a couple ones. We're gonna see how that goes. So just stay tuned, especially you, Junk. Stay tuned. I'll probably be making the announcement here next week, and we'll do just like how we did last time, probably a 2-week span of letting people apply, get into it, that kind of thing. I'll stay tuned so I can watch another bastard walk off with my friend. Hey, you know, here's the thing, dude. I'm back, baby. You know what I mean? I'm back, and I gotta do something better than before. You know, I did contact one of the people that won the second prize, and they never contacted me back, which, you know, works out great for me because I, you know, save money. But we're probably gonna do a game giveaway, possibly a D&D giveaway. That's gonna be more focused towards stateside, because I don't know how to ship outside. But let's say the first prize, you know, it's going to be a $60 game. Just right off the bat, it's going to be a $60 game. Let's say, Junk, for example, you win the second prize, right? I'm going to give you the equivalent to that in monetary value. So the secondary prize is going to be some Critical Role merch. And if, you know, Junk, let's say you do win and you're like, fuck it, I really want some of that Critical Role merch, dude. I think they do gift cards, and if they do, I'll get a gift card, and I'll give you the code for it. I see we're role-playing in a fantasy world. You never know, Junk. You never know. There's, you know, I got a lot of people that last time around. That's not to say, though, that that's going to be the case this time, you know. we could be looking at something all new. You know, if it's just you, well, then you know you're winning first and probably second prize. I'm looking at their page right now to see if they have like gift cards or anything. Oh, they do have gift cards. Fantastic. They do have Critical Role gift cards. That is actually pretty cool. Did not know that. So what we're probably gonna do for that is, let's see here. We'll do a set of dice of your choosing. If it's just me, you'll be winning. Relax. You're gonna. I'm telling you, Junk. It's only a matter of time, and I'll keep these giveaways going until eventually you win, bud. My #1 supporter right there. So we'll do a set of dice, and I don't know, Junk. Maybe how does? Should I do? Should I do one of their books, or should I do like a piece of clothing? Thinking a sweatshirt or a hoodie. Eventually I'll get my own merch and it'll be fantastical. Trying to see what they got. A hat. People like hats. Let's see. Do they have hats? They better have hats. I don't. Oh, headwear. Bing bong. Let's see what we got here. Some pretty good dad hats. I'm not gonna lie. These are dad hats and a half. Vaxelian and Vethbranito Rogue neck gaiters. Probably do that. Get him a nice little hat. Then we have the books. So I actually have all the Critical Role books. Great books. Lots of in-depth stuff. We'll figure it out together, huh? Books are nice. See, that's what I'm saying, man. Why do they only have the PDF version of this? Do they have the regular version? This is where I bought the regular one. It must be sold out or something right now. It's a great book. Great book. Lots of interesting knowledge. Anyways, put that back over here for right now. Favorite that. Perfect. Too many sinks boats. Yeah. But they could also make toilet paper if you're stranded. Yeah. Alright. So, basically where we're at right now is we're doing a castle. Castle-like. Waterworks 2. That's disgusting, and you should probably take a fucking shower. So yeah, we're finishing this castle up. It's taken us probably, I'm not gonna lie, like, because we planned to play originally from 10 to 1 a.m. 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. So 3 hours of play. And now we've gone down from 9 to about 12:30. If it's something that's really important, we'll stay up to like 1 and play. But what we used to do is like every other week. So it gave me 2 weeks 2 weeks basically to write my story. And I never wanted to overstep the story, because I know some DMs, what they like to do is they build this whole campaign and then they hit the ground and they're like, hey boys, campaign, and they got a binder with like 900 pages of paper in it. I have to see how my group's doing, what they're doing, what they want to do, and then I build my narrative off of that for the next session. So we've been doing this dungeon for a minute, this castle dungeon, whatever you want to call it. And again, we've been doing it for about 3 months. We've been playing actively 3 times a month. So we've gotten a lot of sessions in, and we're finally coming to a drawdown, and that is where I'm going to step back in. But the only use 7 pages out of 900, pretty much. That would 100% accurately be my group. More than 1 page of prep per area is wasted effort. I'm learning that. I'm learning that if it doesn't have to do with the side quest or main quest, it's best that I just improvise right there on the spot and move it along. And if they feel like they want to do a side quest, you know, I can probably pull one out of my ass pretty quick, at least enough to get them started, and then, you know, obviously from there move on. So this is where we're at when I take over. Now you just need to have ideas ready to go. Yeah, I know. I got a couple of books, a couple little one-shots that I can pull from. And the good thing about these Critical Role campaigns is they give you, I'm sure, you know, I don't actually have the Sword Coast campaign book as well. So basically, right, the way it works is you find a town, let's say Portamale, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Portamale, they'll have a set side quests, you know, and then refer to page 97 of the Wildemount Handbook. You go to 97 and it's got a short run. You just fill in the blanks. Mad Lib it, right? So coming to an end, in which I'm going to take back over the storyline. Now we've done a lot of combat in the last so many odd number of months. Done a lot of combat. In fact, it's almost to a point where I feel that the group is headed towards combat fatigue. So what's a good thing to do during combat fatigue? Narrative, baby. My specialty. So basically that session that is coming up is going to be a narrative-based trip. It's going to give them time to prep, time to buy things with all the loot that they've accrued. They've gotten a lot of gold. I didn't make it to last session. It was my daughter's birthday, but I was told that they picked up 50 pounds of platinum. So needless to say, everybody gets 10 pounds of platinum. Platinum doesn't weigh as much as you think. So they got a bunch of platinum. I know that personally I have 400 gold. It's been a little finicky with the gold and copper and silver and electrum and platinum. I'm sticking to the gold standard, which is silver, gold, platinum. Fuck copper. Fuck electrum. That whole shit just can piss off. That's too much for my guys, and like I said, we're all too new to really understand what the hell all that shit would be and like start nitpicking on prices. But basically gold is not a problem in these areas. They're going to be pretty well off. Some of the house rules I stick to too is they don't have to worry about food and water. There's going to be enough places for them in their travels to where they can get food and water. If let's say they're going on it's going to take them 6 or 7 days to get from point A to point B, right? I'll let them know straight up, like, hey guys, you're about to take off. It's going to be 6 days of travel. You're going to need food and water. It's going to cost you 12 gold a person or 15 silver a person, you know, something like that. And that's how food and water is going to get done. Because again, they don't really need to keep it to the essentials for having fun. Yeah. I don't really want to blow their brains just yet. I know that there's some hardcore DM guys that are like, but you got to make sure, because then they get exhausted and that'll affect their combat ability. And no, not happening, bud. It's not how I like to do things. The simpler, the better. Some of the other things too. I know that if you hear me talk about things and you go, well, that breaks this rule. I have fun with breaking rules, but I have more fun when boost that camera up right there. I have more fun watching these guys find ways to bend around rules. You know what I mean? Like you give them a rule, it's black and white, right? Can't do it unless, right? I love that unless. Rules are more like guidelines. Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. That's what it look. That's how I like to do things. Bend the rules, don't break them. if I have to say no, then I want them to not have to sit there and want to argue with me. I want them to be like, look, he helps. He wants us to find ways to bend the rules. If we can't bend this rule, then we can't possibly bend it. There's no way possible. That way the rules are a little bit stricter. Yes, and oh, Lord Almighty. The improv thing. Exactly. Improving. Never say no, always yes, and I like that. The answer is always going to be yes, except for when you say, can I fight the DM? Because yes, you can fight me, but I'm going to, shit. My hero, the person taking my role, will be a red dragon, so have fun. They're only level 5s. Yes, he's going to whoop your ass. Yeah, a lot of these guys think that they could. A lot of these guys, it's going to be funny. I've actually talked to them about recording our session and putting it up. I know we've talked about it in the past, our job. A lot of people don't want to know or want people to know about us outside, which is understandable. It's very understandable. And I get that. I respect it. So it's one of those things I'm going to work on eventually, because let me find out that this ends up blowing up being my new thing on Twitch and YouTube. But because if it is, I'm going to tell these guys straight up, like, hey, I got a chance at making money. And if I make money, you make money because I'll pay y'all. Next thing you know, dude, we're better than Matt Mercer and his group. Just kidding. I don't ever want to curse Matt Mercer. He's like an idol for me. I don't like saying idol, but he's what I wish I could do with my life. So with me taking back over, slowing things up. Excuse me, still trying to get this nasty stuff off. Elfiers and whatnot. Okay, before I go back into this, the first day we met for our session 0, my wife, back in the day, she had some old headphones from like high school, and they had elf ears, so I cut them and I put them on, and thinking I was gonna be the nerd, right? Oh wow, he's really getting into this. I had one dude show up with like a legit medieval sword. I had another dude show up in leather armor. I had a dude show up with a medieval shield. Like, these dudes are so into it. Like, it would be a great time if I could get them to do it. And eventually, after we're done here and we start slowing things down for the night, I'll tell you about my plan for making a pub. So, with it coming to an end, we, once the final boss is dealt with, I'm getting the tables turned back over to me. Made you feel like you called it in. Yes, I think I know what you're saying. So once the final boss, whatever it is, made you feel like you called it in, the guy's dressing up. Yep. So once it gets handed back over to me, basically he's gonna be like, what do they find? And then that's when I swap places with the DM that's currently running it. So some names that you guys should know. The players. I'm gonna go with the players right now because we still haven't broken into. They've been having issues remembering each other's names. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's just it again, not used to it, right? So my character is Finn Wolfmorn. We have a guy in the group named Grumps. He's actually one of our players' dads, and we pulled him in for the reason of that he has the most experience. I needed that experience to be there. Didn't really care how or who it was. I just needed somebody there with some form of experience to teach me. So we call him Grumps, and his character's name we have called him Grumps because he does not have a name. Again, he's from 3E. His character's background is that he's a cleric dwarf that was kicked from his guild. And from my understanding, my knowledge of that is that when a dwarf is kicked from his guild, he has no name. So, however, in the Wildmount book, that doesn't mean anything. At that point, they're called hill travelers. And they have their own names. They can keep their names. They can keep their clan name, usually. So he has gone with the 3E, the old style of D&D, what he knows, which is fine. I had to obviously tell him, like, hey, characters are going to call you hill traveler, other dwarfs are. They're not going to be mad at you. They're not going to shun you. They're not going to send you away because you've been kicked from your guild. It's a very PC-esque community, which... Wildmount a little different, which is going to affect one of my players, but we'll talk about that here in a minute as well, or a little bit here as well. So we have him. I also have a dwarf wizard. His name is Gimbal. I have a dragonborn monk whose name is Forcraft, and I have a paladin, because there's always got to be that one in the group, right? Poopy McFarts. His name is Lauren Ace. Lornace. So basically when you say his full name, it's Uranus. And he did that on purpose. He's my knucklehead of the group. He's my little special kid. And then I have a sorcerer tiefling whose name is God, what is his name? Mazir the tiefling. Mazir. So that's my guild. That is my group that I play with. The paladin belongs to the Platinum Dragons, which is specifically to the Exandria styled world. And yeah, so with that being said, towards the end of Grumps' dungeon, a book is found called Tales of the Whispered One. The book explains the lore of Vecna, the Whispered One, which I'll read what that page is going to include. At night's end, as players rest, one player will have a dream from the spirit from the first night, telling them that they need to head east to Wildmount. And there, in a city called Port Damali, there will be a messenger that he must meet with, and that not to look too hard, but the messenger will find him and inform him of what's going to be going on. The group will be moved back to the city of Whiterun to get their affairs in order before taking the skyship to Port Damali. That's going to basically be like, hey guys, go to the store, spend some of your hard-earned money that you looted and killed for. Buy some things. They have a chance at Port Damali to go see Gilmore. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with Gilmore. Gilmore has a magic shop. And boy, is he just a special man. A special. So I'll just briefly put that there. And I will bring this over here.
I felt it again. That same feeling I had around the dragon.
Blah, 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 blah. There we go.
I'll tell you when I have one.
I'm sure I'm gonna get fucking stricken for this, but that's alright.
You have entered a realm of mystery, of magic, of marvel. Welcome to Gilmore's Glorious Goods! Enchanted curios and magical artifacts at discounted prices. I take gold, silver, platinum. Why, if it isn't the mysterious Vaxeldan. I was hoping you would swing back through again.
So with that being shown, you guys know exactly what kind of person Gilmore is. Gilmore's going to be in the Wildemount. I don't think I'm going to let them see Gilmore yet. One of my guys, he's going to have a freaking field day with Gilmore. I can already tell you right now, because Gilmore's going to have the hots for a little teeth clean. Anyways, let's see here. So they'll be able to get their affairs in order. I have a feeling the Paladin's going to go talk to his Paladin buddies, talk about what they know about Wildemount. Basically, I don't know, man. Go to the Wildemount. Get out of here. We don't want you. He's kind of known as the Knucklehead. Even in as his character, again, that player trait comes into his character. So he's very knuckleheaded, and his guild kind of just whenever he shows up, he's always like, "Good evening," and they're just like, "Oh god, this guy again." So everyone's got to get their affairs in order, do some shopping, whatever they want to do. The following day, they will have the opportunity to take the new skyship to the Wildemount, cost-free, courtesy of the Thieves Guild. That's where Sven, my character, basically he takes that player status, and I put him into an NPC-styled status at that point. The trip is about 5 days time through fair winds, and fair winds may make the trip faster. If they roll and make it, may take longer. If they had a bad roll, 5 or lower, we're going off of a D10. That's when obviously it'll take a little bit longer. If the players roll a 2 or lower, they will encounter a storm that can and will have the chance to cause damage to their HP. Again, that's going to be their out-of-the-box thinking. The right answer that I would take is that they fasten everything down with the ropes, and that they tie themselves down to the ropes, or they go inside and fasten themselves somehow to the skyship. Is that going to happen? No. They're going to take some blunt damage. Sven will be amongst them and will be the one to make the travel arrangements, as he will be going to the Wildemount to help open a local thief guild in one of the cities. The city's going to be Port Damali. I've decided that right off the bat. Once they arrive near the city, the captain will explain for them to brace for a subtle landing, and the skyship will dock. Basically in like a football style field. Once they begin to depart the ship, explain to them the surroundings of Port Damali. So let's go ahead and pull up my picture of Port Damali. So we're going to go ahead and focus the camera back down here to the map. So, you know what? Let's do this as well. There is one. See about making it a little bit brighter in here, if this is going to work or not. Probably not. Give me 1 second, fellas. There we go. A little bit brighter. Not exactly what I was looking for. So this is the map of the Wildemount, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this here in a minute. So the Wildemount is roughly, I don't know, I think it's somewhere around like 600 miles long, 800 miles long, something like that. So Port Damali, right? This right here, this whole area that I'm circling, there we go. It's called the Menagerie Coast. The Menagerie Coast is where a lot of the heavily populated areas, a lot of the trade comes in and out of. This little area that you see right here, this little black and white area, I know it's kind of hard to see. Let's see here. There we go. So this whole little black and white sketched out area, that is the continent of Tal'Dorei. For reference. So we have the Menagerie Coast, the Dwendalian Empire, I don't know how to say that, so we're gonna forget it. Isle Cross, the Emerald Gulch, Horex, the Blight Shore. These are all your major areas on the map. So Port Damali. So we have the Menagerie Coast here. Port Damali is right here. just around the peninsula, right? So, before I get too far into it, and we're going to talk about it, this is Versglade. That's important to notice, right? That's Versglade. And this is New Haxon, right there, that little thingy bob, right? That's part of the Blightshore. So, there we go. Let's go ahead and reset that up. Just like that. Okay. So now that you have a kind of understanding of the area, I'm going to pull up our thingamabob here. Sign in. There we go. And we are Gucci. So what does Port Damali look like? It goes over to here. Port Damali is one of the more heavily populated areas of the continent. So this is what Port Damali looks like. Right, so nothing too special. Some docks, right? I have completely reconstructed Port Damali. So before I got the book, I just kind of went off of what I thought it was going to look like. And in doing so, this, by the way, guys, this is Incarnate. I just recently found out about another app to use called Fantasy Ground. Something I'm going to look into here later. I'll give you guys kind of what's going on. So before I had the book, I had to make my own Port Damali, and this is how I pictured it, right? Looks like dog water. Looks like dog water. Not gonna lie. I was super proud of it. Then I learned, right, how to use the program. So I went off of a pre-built map. And in that pre-built map, I found, I started adding certain areas, certain districts, started playing around a lot. This one takes a little bit longer to load. So this is my version of Port Damali. Again, unfortunately, it's downloading a lot of assets. Oh, it does that though. Let's go here. Looks like we're there. Okay, so this is my version of Port Damali. So, what I've done differently, right? Oh, don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. There we go. What I did was I added a coastline, a little bit more ground finding. We have a factory, which, as you can see, lets all the nasty boo-boo water out. So what we had is I kind of restructured this to be called the Temple Ward. This is going to be basically where the cleric's going to want to go to, where the paladin's going to want to go to. I actually already made a paladin temple, but he's going to have the option to go either. I kind of want him to go here, to be honest, but that's neither here nor there. I made a market district. I refined the market district up. This is going to be our skyport. This is going to be an arena because our monk, I don't think he knew when he was building his character. I think he was looking for a fighter, but he went monk instead. Not that it's a problem. It's not. He's making this monk into a fighter, and who said you can't, multi-class? And then we have this right here, the Cerberus Assembly. The Cerberus Assembly is kind of a paramilitary group within the lands of the Wildemount. So, and this is where Gilmore's shop will be located. Right here. That's Gilmore's shop. Bing bong. So yeah, that is my version of Port Damali. It's a little bit more, as you can tell, a little bit more God, what's the right way to put it? A little bit more involving, you know what I mean? This has no purpose other than to give them a basic lay of the land that they can use, you know, to help picture. You know, we got our outer limits of the city, right? We've got our inners, and then we have our super inner, which is here, separated by this wall. So, anyways, that's what I'm rolling with. Let's go ahead and move this back over here. Bing bong. All right, so let's see here. So, tell them the surroundings of Damale. Basically, I'm just going to give them some brief little instructions on what that is going to look like, as far as race, population, all that kind of stuff. And the characters will bid farewell to Sven for now. Help guide them through the city to a local hostel where a halfling will be offering room and board for cheap. The rooms will consist of one dresser and a wardrobe, as well as a small chest for personal items. There are a total of 4 rooms available, although there's enough room to have a cot if needed if one wants to share a room, because I got 5 players. If they decide to go to a different hotel or inn, the rooms will be 3 silver a night, or 8 gold, 5 silver for 30 days, or 7 days 2 gold, and 1 silver. However, at the hostel owned by the halfling, it will be 1 silver a night, 7 days will be 7 silver, and 30 days will be 2 gold and 5 silver. So, pretty cheap. You know, they're not really getting breakfast served in the morning to them, unless they want to befriend the halfling, which we will talk about later, because I'm going to have to build a kind of a character arc on him as well. The first night, they will make their way to the local restaurant or tavern, try to insist that they go. There, they will have a show and music. If they make a perception check, they will notice a hooded figure in the corner and have a chance to talk to him at that time, or of their leaving. If they do not talk to the hooded figure, they will make another opportunity to make a perception check and encounter the hooded figure. Basically, they're going to run into this guy no matter what. If they notice, they can ask what he's doing, in which case he will inform them that he is a druid that was sent to them about information regarding the Whispered One. He will tell them of a place within 1 full day's travel of walking in the nearby mountain range of the Hearthstar Peaks, and where what he can only assume are mages in dark cloth have been conjugating, as well as local settlers have seen strange lights and have heard strange sounds coming from some of the mountaintops. He tells the travelers that since the mysterious green comet have flown by a couple weeks' time, he has noticed more hooded figures and crime rates have begun to arise, mainly burglary and murder, and yet no local crime syndicate has claimed responsibility for these actions. He advises the group to take haste to the mountains to find what the reason behind some of these occurrences are, but also tells them to be careful on their journeys and to be more careful who they decide to divulge information to. The hooded character then tells him he must go and returns to the shadows, where he seems to disappear. The next morning, the adventurers will take the morning to prepare for the trip and discuss how they would like to travel. If they would rather walk or by horseback, it's 1 day's travel by foot and a little more than a half a day travel by horse. However, horses are not for rent, but for purchase at 20 gold apiece. Once they arrive at the mountain base, they have the option to begin up the mountain or have the choice of taking a game trail perception check for the notch in the tree, with a form of elf writing that says, climb to the top of the peaks to hear the words of the Whispered One or whispered by one of the gods. And I'm gonna slay this out pretty shittily. My elf is not as great these days. Climb Lord Natel, sel ath tel peaks, lo ne hin nish words whispered ath fe ath tel gods. With crude cravings of what appears. That's not the right page. There it is. Sorry, forgot it's on the back. To be left near the game trail. If they choose to make camp for the night, have a watch. High roll, they see nothing. On a low roll, 10 or under. That's going to be my low roll is 10. They will see a pair of yellow eyes staring at them from a bush. that is disturb-stricken with fear. The player must decide, does he alert the others and stare back at the fierce yellow-tinted eyes. If the player decides to alert the group, they will spring into action and a giant wolf will jump over the campers and scurry off. The player is now thinking that they are safe and trouble has been averted. They will hear the trees above them rustle. As they look up, a humanoid creature will land in between the players and arise to a 6-foot big werewolf. Battle will commence. The werewolf will actively use claws, but towards Giles will attempt to bite him. If a successful bite is landed, Giles is Lorinus. Let's see here. Lorinus will attempt to bite him. If a successful bite lands on Lorinus, let Lorinus know after the battle that he has been infected with lycanthropy. After the battle, if they search the werewolf, they will see a collar wrapped around his neck, and on the collar is an inscription of an old arcane. No one should be able to read it, but if Gimbal uses understand language, he will have to make a DC roll of 20, and only will understand a few words. A written spell that shows the werewolf was under the command of Master Incata Vernum. The werewolf will only have that on its person in tattered clothes as it turns back into a human. If the battle is appearing to end quickly, add back the wolf. The moon is at its final night of fullness, and Lorinus will have to either find a cure, if bit, or learn to wield his newfound transformation. But on the next full moon, he will enter a rage state, and players may be able to knock him out and save him after the end. After the end of that lunar phase, he will be able to turn into wolf form at will. Now, we go back to the very beginning. I talked about the book that one of the characters are going to find, talking about the Whispered One. And this is what it's going to read. The Lich Lord Vecna presides over villainous mages, conspiring politicians, and envious servants, and undeath and secrets. Once a dangerously clever and powerful archmage turned lich, his hunger for dominion over all mysteries and obsession with conquering the Pantheon led to his own dissolution, leaving behind only his left eye and hand. His enduring spirit reformed through the ages and mangled to reconstruct the Raven Queen's rights to ascensions to become the newest gods to walk Exandria. Vecna calls no place home among the plains his home. Vecna calls no place among the plains his home, instead wandering in search of powerful artifacts and secrets to further his unknowable plots. One of Vecna's main laboratories on Exandria was the Versglade of Wildemount. So that was that area that I showed here. Right there. I know it's kind of hard to see. Sorry. Let's see if I can zoom in on the camera here. Let's see. I'm probably going to have to pull up the actual Beastbook cam. Go. That's great. Nope, that's not what I want to do either. Nope, that doesn't work. Let's see here. That seems really shitty that it does not give me the option to zoom in. Oh well, I'll have to go and play with it later. Anyways. It's between the mountain ranges, this huge mountain range right here, which leads over to here, called the Ashkeeper Peaks. In this little area, in the Ashkeeper Peaks, there's this little kind of sunken area with a mountain range. The way I'm gonna make it look is more dead swamp. Once they reach one of the peaks tops, they're gonna look down and it's just gonna be covered in fog down below. They're not gonna be able to see anything. It's like a unpierceable fog. So, anyways, Versclay to the Wild Mount, where he performed countless experiments that left the forest corrupt and haunted by a bomb. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze. Corrupted and haunted by the abominations of his creations. Vecna is also rumored to have a vault filled with magical items of fell power to Old Haxan, the ruins in which New Haxan was built. Now that was, that's this area right here on the map, a part of the Blightshore. And there's actually a part of the Blightshore we'll talk about. One of the things I'm adding into my campaign. A century before the calamity, the Archmage Vecna achieved Lichdom, amassed followers and undead forces, and with them disappeared into the Shadowfell, where they conquered the city of Thar Amphala and built the tower called Entropis. That served as his base. From the Shadow Plane, Vecna exploited the Celestial Solstice, a merging of ley energies. The way that you can think of the Celestial Solstice is basically, so there's two moons. One of them is red. One of them is white. When the red moon does an eclipse, a total planetary eclipse, magic users' magic is boosted like 30 times over. It's crazy. Needless to say, a lot of good can come from it, but I don't think I need to say it, but a lot of bad could come from that as well. Which, if you watch the Mighty Nine, it's kind of their beginning plot, at least the first like 55 sessions that they did. Not that I'm counting. I think 54 is actually called the Solstice. Anyways, that gave him the power to open portals for his forces at whim, giving him space to strike with precision and retreat to Thar Amphala before retaliating forces could muster. Thus, he overcame some old enemies and forced them to bend the knee, slew them and raised them as his loyal undead. One such rival was Kos, accepted vampirism in the exchange for Filthy as a Vecna's chief lieutenant. Vecna forged for him a relic blade with a fraction of Kos's consciousness. In the months of terrorizing Vecna's enemies that followed, he became Kos the Bloody-Handed. Now, for those who do follow the Vox Machina series, it was the blade that the Briarwood used that Grog took after they killed him. Basically, the blade consumes blood, and when it consumes blood, it amplifies its strength. So it's a pretty hard hitting weapon. Basically, anytime it lands a strike on anybody, it goes up one. It gives you 1+ in strength, or an additional 1 die. I forget what it was. I have it in my other book that I don't have with me. So Vecna's foes figured out how to reverse engineer the Celestial Solstice, just as Vecna was attempting to ascend to godhood with the ritual of seating atop of Entropis. A holy army led by Yosvarda attacked Thar Amphala. Yosvarda climbed Entropis and attempted to duel Vecna, but was defeated. Vecna, winded by his efforts, opened up an opportunity for Kos. Kos attacked the Whisper One using the gifted blade, approaching to usurp the Lich. The ensuing battle destroyed them both. All that remained of Vecna was his left eye and left hand, and all that remained of Kos was his blade. Vecna was later considered a lesser deity or patron saint of dark, coveted secrets, and this belief and worship lent him new power. His following was scattered across Exandria, calling themselves the Remnants, who will sacrifice their lives, prefacing Vecna's return through the ritual of seeding. In order to make him passage back to the material plane, they seized 3 ziggurats of Laun, the goddess of knowledge. She is going to be Gimbal's, like, her champion. because he's all about knowledge and learning, and sharing. And you'll see why they don't get along here in a minute. Fierce rival of Vecna and corrupted them. Only 2 corrupted ziggurats were mentioned. One in Smolder Crown Mountains among the deserts of Marquet. Excuse me. Marquet is on a different continent. It's to the west of Tal'Dorei. So this is to the east of Tal'Dorei. Let's see here. Among the deserts of Marquet, and another beneath Whitestone, the city founded by the Dorolo family, which is in Tal'Dorei. The last ziggurat is thought to be in the lands of the Wildemount, untouched and unfound by the followers who will still actively looking so that they may bring him back. And then we have the commandments of Vecna. Learn all you can and keep hidden that which you know. Express and cultivate the evil within yourself, and in doing so recognize it in others to exploit them for their own benefits, and seed the ruin of all who worship other deities until only those who kneel before Vecna remain. So, that is my first session. Chances are pretty good that's going to be broken up into two sessions, knowing my group. I actually have my other session, but it's not localized on the computer here. It's on my work hard drive. So let's go ahead. Actually, you know what? Should I leave this out? I'll leave it out. And it gives you guys something to look at. I'll move the mouse out of the way here in a minute. So, now what is it that... Actually, you know what? We're just going to put this back altogether. So you might be thinking to yourself, right? Glitchy, sounds like you got it all down, dude. What else do you need to write? So, now comes my favorite part. Building characters, right? Building narratives, building characters. So, Shopkeeper's neither here nor there. If it ain't Gilmore, it ain't nothing, right? Let's listen to Fantasy Tavern music. That's not good enough for me. Neither is that. Actually, none of these are really settling me too much here. I gotta think. There we go. Actually, what's the new adventure sound like? Sounds good. Alright. So, now comes my favorite part of being a DM, which is making new characters and writing out a dialogue. So, we... character. Captain of... And just so you know, I'm probably going to hit cap locks a lot and all sorts of stuff. So, Captain of the... What's a good name for a ship? The Rusty Nail. As the group, we're going to call it the guild. As the guild makes their way to the city Skyport, they will see Sven waiting by a huge skyship just in the open fields outside the city of White. The ship looks magnificent. It appears to be a mixture of both wood and steel with a brilliantly white mast that is inlaid with gold. As the group gets closer and more excited, Sven will let them know that the ship is almost ready to depart. Allow the group guild to talk briefly and make them think that it is the ship they are taking. Once they have been suckered into boarding the super sky ship, tell them that's not their ride and that it's ported behind the ship. I know, editor suggestions. I get it. I read like shit. I always, just so you know, I know that you're probably looking at this like, what the fuck are you doing, Glitchy? You know what I'll do? Check this out. Boom. Nope, that's not it. Boom. That's definitely not it. That's definitely not it. Okay. What we're going to do is we're just going to make this bigger, stronger. In the meantime, what we'll do here is we will open up you, perfect, close you out, remove my background, there we go. Yes, I know there's hella fucking misspellings and no pronunciation. Again, these are my notes, so I don't care about pronunciation unless it's like a point I need to make. Also, I always end up going back after the fact. I have to get these ideas out now so that I don't forget. And, I'm constantly just going back and forth with re-editing. So that is why it looks like turd. port behind the ship. The group will make their way around where they will see a boat like airship that looks beat to hell. No mast because it broke, and ship is made of tattered and broken pieces that look to be salvaged wood. Once aboard the ship, they will see a huge ogre, strong and stoic. Spelled that wrong. Stoic looking, and he will make an announcement to anyone on the deck. Boy, listen the fuck up. Make sure I spell this right. Bunch of wargs. The captain's got something. He'd buy it. Captain's got something that is worth listening to. As he says that a beautiful half elf woman walks next to him, dressed as if she was a pirate captain, and pulls a box in front of her using her foot. Period. And behind her comes a small halfling. Hello, hello. Nope. Throw a little Star Wars in there. Why, hello there. He exclaims. Welcome to your one-stop ride to Port Damali. I hope you guys know where you're going, because I don't. He lets a little side chuckle out, and the rest of the crew seem more than unpleased with his presence. Spelled that wrong too. That's fine. Maybe I didn't spell that wrong. He makes an awkward cough and goes, right. Anyways, we should have a easy ride there. No problems. Unless a storm comes through. A dragon attacks us, or we crash. Again, the crew looking more than displeased stares at him as he continues his awkward monologue. This is going to be the dialogue for Sven. Okay. Captain of the Rusty Nail. You know what? Let's see here. All right. As Gil makes their way to the city's skyport, they will see Sven waiting by a huge skyship in just in the open fields outside the city of Whiterun. The ship looks magnificent. It appears to be a mixture of both wood and steel. With a brilliantly white mast that is inlaid with gold. As the group gets closer and more excited, Sven will let them know that the ship is almost ready to depart. Allow the guild to talk briefly and make them think that it is the ship they are taking. Once they have been suckered into boarding the super sky ship, tell them that's not their ride, and that it's ported behind the ship. The group will make their way around where they will see a boat-like airship that looks beat to hell. No mast because it broke, and the ship is made of tattered and broken pieces that look to be salvaged wood. Once aboard the ship, they will see a huge orc, strong and stoic. I don't know how to spell stoic. There we go. Stoic looking, and he will make an announcement to anyone on the deck. Oi, listen the fuck up, you bunch of wargs. The captain's got something something that is worth listening to. As he says that, a beautiful half-elf woman walks next to him, dressed as if she was a pirate captain, and pulls out a box in front of her using her foot. And behind comes a small halfling. Why, hello there, he exclaims. Welcome to One Stop Ride to Port Tamale. I hope you guys know where you're going, cause I don't. He lets out a little chuckle. And the rest of the crew seems more than unpleased with his presence. He makes an awkward cough and goes, right, we should have a easy ride with no problems unless a storm comes through. A dragon attacks us, or we crash again. Yeah, the crew looking more. Again, the crew looking more than displeased stares at him as he continues his awkward monologue, coughing. So yeah, told you. So yeah, hold on to your butts. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. The orc looks at the crew and exclaims, "Well, what you waiting for? An invitation? Now get the now get the fuck." Exclaims, "Well, what you waiting for? An invitation? Now get the fuck back to work." The halfling makes his way to the group. "Sven, my good time boy, how the hell are you?" That's where Sven's gonna talk. "Good to hear it. It looks like the guild." He looks at the guild and introduces himself. "I am Min, or as some call me, the mighty Nearsighty Min." He looks at the guild as Gimbal nose deep in a book. Mazir's just looking around, Uranus looking at a booger he just picked, and others examining the ship. "Right, so anyways, what you gonna do be doing in the WoW Mount?" Allow somebody to speak. "I see. Well, let's get this show on the road. Am I right?" And he nudges Fortcraft, and then scampers off. So again, I'm cutting down a lot on the narrative portions. You know, they're not a god dang. You know what? I'm not even gonna argue with that right now. So we're gonna do file. Save as. Oh, there ain't no fucking way now it wants to pull up like that. Okay. So now that that one's done, let's look here. You know, guys, this is sounds like actually this is where I'm gonna have to end the stream. Sounds like one of my kids is upset, and it's 4 o'clock in the morning, so I'm gonna go handle that. Sorry. I'll stream again tomorrow night. This time, play some games instead. If that's something. Sorry again for having to cut this shorter than I'd like to. But yeah, I'll be back on tomorrow night. We're gonna be playing some. Let's see here. What game should we play tomorrow? I think we'll play some Dead Side. Either Dead Side or Ready or Not. I haven't decided yet. So yeah, thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate it. Really, I do. Stay tuned. We will be working on more storylines probably Wednesday night. And I will talk to you guys